Hi kindergartners, it's Miss Kish and I'm back with another read aloud for you all. So today the read aloud that I thought I would share with you is a book about spring, but it's also a book that's really special to me because it is one of the very first books that I was ever given by a student back when I was student teaching. And you might know the author of this book. The author of this book also wrote the Rainbow Fish books that we read earlier this year. Our book today is called Ava's Poppy. And part of the reason it's so special to me is because the little girl who gave it to me was named Ava. The author is Marcus Pfister, and that's the author who wrote Rainbow Fish and the other books with Rainbow Fish in it. So if you remember that from the beginning of the school year, you'll remember a little bit about him. So let's go ahead and read Ava's Poppy. Every morning, Ava crossed the field in front of her house. What do you see at the end of her field? I see that red poppy. One day, she found a poppy. "You're very beautiful," said Ava. "Please, can I be your friend?" Have you guys ever asked a flower to be your friend before? What do you think about her asking a flower to be her friend? Ava visited her flower every day, and every day she found it right away. It stood out in the field, a lovely shining red. Why did it stick out in the field? What color is the grass all around it? It's green, right? So that bright red flower really stood out for her. She could see it really easily. Its petals were very soft, and sometimes they moved gently in the breeze. See if you can move your body gently like those petals would move. Together, Ava and her poppy would look up at the sky. Can a poppy really look at the sky? Do flowers have eyes? They don't, but with the flower, right, he's pointing upwards, so she thinks that he's looking at the sky with her. Ava was always there for her friend. She protected it from the cold wind. She gave it water when the earth was dry. Back when we had our spring theme, we learned all about the important ways to take care of gardens and flowers, right? And one of them is to keep them watered so that they can keep growing big and tall. And she put up her umbrella when it rained too hard. Ava looked after her friend with tender, loving care. But then the flower began to lose its petals, and Ava was sad. Why do you think that the flower might have lost his petals? Take a guess. Only the round capsule was still shining fresh and green. But soon that too became brown and dry. Ava dug a hole, laid the capsule inside, and covered it with earth. "Goodbye, dear poppy," whispered Ava. Ava made a circle of stones to remind her where the flower once stood. Then winter came. Ava often thought of her friend. "The snow would certainly have been too cold for my flower," she said to herself. In the spring, Ava went back to her stone circle, and there she made a wonderful discovery. In the center of the circle, a tender little plant was reaching up towards the sky. Let's look at her circle of flowers. What's starting to grow in there? It looks like when she planted her little green capsule way into the ground, she took such good care of her flower, she'd watered it. Once spring came again, the little flower is starting to grow. So maybe in a few weeks when she's outside playing in her yard, she'll be able to see that poppy again. And it looks like here, if we look at the picture, we see the life cycle of her poppy. So we see when it's first starting to grow, it's getting bigger. Over here, it's getting that capsule, right? And if you look really closely, you can just see the red starting to peek out. Then her poppy blooms. This is how she found her poppy at the beginning of the story. Remember how it was all bright and red and stood out in the field? And after it was all bright and red, started to get cold, right? It started to become fall and winter, and the flower started to lose its petals. And then you see here, it's kind of wilting, right? It's going down because it's getting cold and it needs to lose all its petals and leaves for the winter, so that when you plant the capsule part again, it can grow in the spring. So I hope that you enjoyed this book about Ava's Poppy as much as I always enjoy it. I hope you guys have a wonderful day, and I will see you again soon for another read aloud. Bye, friends.